Hello, everybody. My name is Lewis Lee, and this is Planning Traffic. We do this every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, so tell all your people if you want to talk about anything you put gas in, cars, boats, trucks, motorcycles, go-karts, shopping carts, we talk about it here on Planning Traffic. We got my man Jason from AMD. We got my man Ray from Motor Mouth Radio. What's up, guys?
Hey, guys. Glad to be here, fellas.
Yeah, glad to have you, man. It was a pleasure meeting you at the Mopar Nationals, and we had a good time there.
Yeah, what a great event, man. That was it's been a long time since AMD's been in person at a Mopar event, and that was a heck of a show.
Yeah. Ray and the boys from East Ohio Dukes put on a great show.
Yeah.
And the car looked great with your parts on it.
Yeah, man, that was a really cool thing. I've seen pictures of the car and never had seen it in person, and I tell you what, they do a great job. Yeah, they do a really good job. I mean, from 3 feet away, you can't tell it's not a Charger.
Yeah.
So that's kudos to their craftsmanship. It's really nice.
Yeah, I was there the night before everybody went down there, and I was just amazed. You know, actually, it was on a Thursday night, so I went live at his shop, and it was great seeing how they put stuff together, and he was explaining, you know, the safety parts of it. It was really cool, really neat system they have together. Real professional.
Yeah, they take safety and precautions very serious, and it was really cool to see how they, you know, incorporate that into their build and what they do to make sure that Raymond's safe every time.
Yeah, it's a good show. So tell us a little bit about your company. AMD, a lot of people already know about you, but, you know, tell us, you know, what your new stuff is coming and you know, what you're doing.
Oof, man, we've only got 30 minutes. Okay.
Oh, we got longer.
Yeah. So we've got Automotive Direct, basically in a nutshell, was built out of a need for quality body panels for the Mopar market. And the owner and the guys that started AMD really were in that niche. And they started off, I believe the first panel they made was a 69 Charger rear tail panel. So it kind of just grew from there. And anybody that's been around the Mopar crowd knows how particular they are to OE correctness and that level of original restoration. So that kind of laid a groundwork for AMD to grow into what a lot of people call a premium brand.
Nice.
So we do now anything from interior pieces, glass, trim, seals. We just came out with 88 to 94 Chevy OBS truck dash assemblies. So we've come a long way from that, and we've developed parts constantly. So to come up with a list of new parts is almost impossible because there's so much in the works and so much that's shown up in the last week. It's really cool.
Nice. Now, where are you guys located at?
So we are in North Georgia. We're in Gainesville, Georgia, right off the interstate system there. And we've been in north of Atlanta for, you know, since 2007. That's when we started, and we've been in the greater Atlanta metro area since then.
Okay, and you also have a mean website where you can order all the parts and catalogs.
Yeah,
I got all your catalogs that you see in the back of me. But
yeah, that's something new. We just revamped is our print catalog offering. For 2024, where we redid just about all of our catalogs in print, digital form, and up until the last 2 or 3 weeks, we just launched a new website.
You know, Jason, that piques my interest right away, because so many places now have gotten away from print because of the cost, and old guys like us. I mean, I was just flipping through a catalog literally before I logged in here, because I was, you know, a lot of us are tactile. We want to have something in our hands and we want to go back and forth, like having a manual. What drove the decision for you guys to incur that cost?
Really, it was just like a nod to our roots, where we know there's guys out there that still like something tangible, something to hold in their hand and go through. And if they're out in the shop, they can look at it right there. They don't want to fool their phone. Maybe their hands are dirty. So let's just offer everything to everybody in that aspect.
Well, thank you for that, because like I said, literally just 2 minutes ago, I was flipping through a catalog looking for something. And it's, when you grow up that way, and I realize, in the hobby, we're aging out, we're at the top of the scale here, but I just had this conversation with my wife the other day. I don't care what they say. Maybe we're aging out, but we got the money, like we can, like right now, if I want to spend $1,000, I can drop it on the card and say, send it, where when I was 20, I couldn't do that.
Right.
So that's great. Thank you for doing that, because that's, I'm sure anybody who has one of those catalogs is gonna love it.
Yeah, and we don't go crazy with it. We don't print 1 million catalogs and send it in your mailbox every other week. It's it's pretty targeted. So we have it on hand for guys that need it, but you're not going to get it if you don't want it.
Right.
That's good. What's nice is it's separated too. So you got the square bodies, and then you got the Fords. What else you got? You got the Camaros and the Mopars. It's pretty nice how it's separated like that, so you can get what you want.
Yeah,
I did notice, Lewis, that some of the companies that I deal with and have done that, and I think it makes sense, because now you're separated. Now you're printing like 5 mini catalogs instead of one giant one. I do a lot of work. The work I do at the shop, I never know what car I'm going to be working on, and when I know what's coming up and I know kind of what the job is going to entail, I'll start ordering catalogs for that car from the different manufacturers, from like OPG or Ames or whoever, CJ Pony Parts, whoever it is, whoever has a catalog that I want, or AMD. And this way I'll have it, and I know we're going to have it in front of me as I work on the car, and I can use it as reference and then to buy materials. So that's, again, fantastic. Everything evolves, everything changes, and the companies that change are going to do well. The ones that don't, they kind of they'll be stuck in, wherever that last place was that they were.
Right. Yes, it's been a great thing, and it, with our print catalogs, we streamline it. So if a 20-something-year-old picks it up, he can scan it with his phone, go right to the parts on the page.
Yeah,
it's interactive. It's got some social media stuff in there. So try to keep it interesting. And we also partner with a lot of companies that you might see in our catalogs, like Blueprint Engines or, Eddie Motorsports, Total Cost Involved, different companies that offer stuff that we don't, that are, partners.
In fact, I just looked in a Pontiac specific catalog. I was looking for an I Did It steering column, and, I thought they might've had it, but they didn't. So I went to I Did It and I printed it.
Right.
So
right.
I found what I wanted, but yeah, a lot of, even in, what the hell catalog is it? There's one that I know it's kind of a hardcore cat. Well, even like, the some of the Pontiac catalogs I get, and now even the OPGI catalogs, they'll have sections where it's aftermarket stuff or performance-based stuff, and they'll have MSD and they'll have Holly and they'll have brands of headers and whatever, because they know that their audience is going to buy that stuff for their cars. And I think it's smart, instead of making believe it doesn't exist, hey, put it in there, sell it, take a markup on it, and everybody's happy, and you keep your customer buying from you.
Right.
Smart.
Yeah, getting that repeat customer is huge. And, we've been doing that, with like you mentioned, OPGI, Ames, they're all customers of ours. And we're not, we want to promote them just as much as we want to promote ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I bought parts from my car from AMD through Ames.
Yep.
I'm using them now, and it was nice because I had the rapport already with the salesman. They knew me. I had an account, and they knew what I was doing, and it was easy. It was very easy. It was nice to see that. It was very, I appreciated that. So
yeah, and they're up your way, aren't they? They're in
Massachusetts,
New Hampshire, somewhere in there.
New Hampshire. Yeah, I'm in New York, so they're still above us. Lewis, unfortunately, nobody has a bus catalog.
Right?
That's the problem, man. No one's got a bus catalog.
Listen, you can't believe how much stuff I had to fabricate because I can't just go buy it.
I believe it.
You know, a lot of duct tape.
Yeah.
And that's the essence of hot rodding and building. I mean, if you didn't have it, you built it.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you make it.
Right.
Yeah.
So me and Jason was talking earlier. He came up here to Ohio. And this is where they have the Mopar Nationals, and he noticed that a lot of trucks in our area are rust buckets.
Oh yeah.
And so, Jason, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago that Ohio doesn't have any inspection, so we could drive anything. You could drive a car, you could see all the way through it through the rust.
It's pretty crazy.
That
For you
is-
guys watching that haven't seen it, I mean, we were standing out like on the main strip, just chilling after the show, hanging out with buddies we haven't seen, and every other truck rolling by. There's the cab corners, rockers gone.
Right.
Lower bed, it's like done.
I was down in North Carolina last year. I'm thinking about relocating down there, so I spent a bunch of time down there, and I saw some pickups that were like jacked. I mean, the beds were jacked this way, jacked that way. You know that there's all sorts of frame rot and rust, and at some point, that truck is a hazard. It really is.
Right.
To themselves and to so you don't drive behind them.
Right. Yeah. Get over it. Far lane. Go right around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
my 06, the whole truck is clean. Interior, everything's clean until you get to the rocker panels.
Right. I mean, some trucks just have that rust that they all get. It's just it's kind of built in at the factory.
Well, I tell you, we were talking about new products and stuff with AMD. We're constantly looking at new stuff, and we were pulling out a few bodies from wherever we got them from, and it was the 2010, 2014 Challengers, and the rocker panel and up the quarter panels all like filled with foam.
Oh yeah.
And nobody pulls the body plugs to clean those things out.
Right.
So those are getting common rust areas, rocker panel, lower wheel arch. So I mean, it's common throughout. It's not something that's going away.
Yeah.
My Ford F-150 has foam around in the bed, around the wheel well, and it's all you reach there and feel it's wet. Like
yeah. These junkyard cars that we got, basically like a car cut in half. You could squeeze the foam and water was coming out. I was like, how long has that car just been sitting, right?
So how do you make the parts? How do you make those panels without having original factory dies? And because the stuff you make is spot on, perfect.
Well, we put a lot of time and effort into it, and basically what we do is, we do market analysis and figure out, what would sell, what wouldn't sell, try to stay in business by developing everything we can. And we create the dies. So we do 3D scanning and do, it's a bunch of robots and lasers and, it sounds real sci-fi, but it's really precision, machine work that they're making these tools like they did originally.
So I guess what you do is you try to get somebody's car in that is an original car that is original and perfect as it can be, and then you'll scan it, robotically scan it. That makes sense.
Yeah, like with our square body program, we've been running R&D on that for several years. I'd say up to 10 years we've been starting that program, and we've taken apart dozens of trucks in different various forms. Where, say, if we need a roof skin off the truck. Well, we'll take the roof skin off this truck, but we've got to have something to put it back to. So we need the back cab in the original condition, or the windshield surrounding all that stuff. We match the parts back to factory spec.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty detailed. There's some sacrifices made on some of the classics, but it's for the greater good.
Yeah. That has to, like, destructive testing has to be done, to find out how you can go forward. Right. But that's good. But dies. I mean, dies are huge. I mean, we're talking big stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got involved with building a custom guitar for a guy a couple of years ago, and I designed and mocked up a guard for the pickup. and I did it out of aluminum, and I made it. And he says, "Wow, this is great." He goes, "Now I want to make this. How do we make this out of steel and chrome?" I said, "Well, it really should be pressed in a die." I said, "That's how they do it originally." He goes, "Oh, okay. Well, where can I go to get that done?" I was like, "You're gonna, if you're gonna commission a place to make the die." I mean, I had made dies as a machinist in a machine when I worked at a machine shop years ago. I said, you can't imagine how much that's going to cost. I said, "No, sorry, dude, but there's no way you can afford that. It's cost prohibitive, unless you want to make like thousands of them if you think you can sell them,
Right.
and you can't." So, he got a big education about dies. And then I sent him a video I found on YouTube where it was probably like an old GM video where they were stamping out, quarter panels and hoods and whatever. And I said, "That's a machine. That's a die machine." And he was like, "Oh my God."
Oh yeah. Yeah. Some of those presses are, bigger than most New York City apartments, and they're gigantic.
Yeah.
And the actual pressing process hasn't changed a whole lot.
So what kind of square footage in your facility do you have? Like what's the do you have separate, I guess you have separate buildings, you have offices, and you have like the like where the actual parts are pressed. That's got to be something to see.
Well, that's one of the things for us is most of our pressing is done in Taiwan.
Okay.
And we do all the R&D and fitment and scanning and that kind of thing here in the States, but it's not cost prohibitive for us to do it here in the US.
Yeah.
So our facility, although it's huge, we don't do any of the actual pressing here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. That's now, and I wonder, because I worked for a company in the 80s that we did ship stuff off to Singapore to be made. We sent them our raw material, and they they did some operations and then assembly and sent it back, and we R&D'd and we QC'd it. But I didn't get to go. There were other engineers who got to go over and see it, and I always wanted to see their facilities to see like what's a Singapore facility like as opposed to like what like one of the GM facilities was, or any one of the manufacturing facilities, whoever made Frigidaire refrigerators,
right.
And I wonder, were there like 5-year-old kids running around working the press?
Right. Right. I tell you, there's and with any manufacturing venture that you have to do overseas, you've really got to do your homework, and investigate what's going on, who you're working with. And we've had our partners for 25 years.
Right.
And I tell you, if anybody's like interested in a good video of something like what we do in Taiwan, Classic Truck Performance Magazine and In the Garage Media did a great video of a recent trip to Taiwan with one of our competitors, and it was a great video of seeing like how they press and how they manufacture similar items to what we're doing.
Okay. I've also seen the ones of like the ones in Pakistan. They were like, I forget what they were making. It was like,
I've seen those.
And there's kids with these giant rolls of metal that they use sticks to move, and they're wearing sandals and like bed sheets.
Right.
It's like, and there's open flames, and there's like,
oh yeah,
and they're pressing these parts, and they're kids. I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah. OSHA, sketchy. It all comes to mind. It's pretty crazy.
Because I had a hand in that market, in that industry years ago, I'm curious now, what do you do on your end for QC and QA of how intensive are you, or what can or how do you make sure you're getting what you're paying for? Because that's important.
So what we do when we're prototyping something, we'll send it off to to get the dies made, get the prototype made, and then we'll get back that and we'll test fit it on a couple different vehicles.
Okay.
And if something's not right, we report that back. This has got to be fixed. That's got to be fixed. Hey, you need to move this up, this out, that kind of thing. And that process could go on 10, 12 cycles easy.
Right.
Until it's dead right. And then we give it the clearance for production, goes into production. We test it again once it comes in. And as long as everything goes, we go straight to market.
So have you had a high success rate with their quality control?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, that's good.
The manufacturing capabilities and the professionalism of the people we work with in Taiwan is just bar none.
I mean, the thing is, whether or not you QC it, your customers are QCing it for you, because everybody who's going to put a panel on and it doesn't fit, you know that they're going to be barking back at you. So
yeah, and that's something, you know, as long as I've been with AMD, it's been, you know, almost 7 years now. That's something that they take very seriously. Is if there's a customer complaint, we're pulling it off the shelf and we're putting it on a car. I mean, we're going to find out what the problem is.
That's the livelihood of the business. Without that, you don't have a business.
Right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could say, here's your money back, go kick sand, but no, we want to make it right.
Well, yeah, but no, you want that customer, and you want a repeat customer, and you want the referral, and you want, of course, you know, the propagation. Yeah.
Right.
Naturally. But no bus parts, Louis. Sorry, no bus parts.
Yeah. I'm out of luck.
So Ray is asking, is AMD planning on making a 68, 9, and 70 B-body dash frame?
Yeah, that's
Ray.
Yeah, you know who it is, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I was talking to the owner yesterday about some of the stuff that we need to still fulfill on the Charger. The frame is on the table. The 70 Charger fender and hoods, I'm still working on them. So we've got potential for the dash frames. I don't know when or where, if that's a go or no, but there's a lot of factors play into that too. But it's something we're pushing forward on more parts for Charger, so I don't see why not.
Yeah. I remember when the Dutchman panel came out in the rear. That was like a huge thing for the Mopar guys. Yeah, I got a bunch of Mopar friends, and they were like, you know, they could never get a Dutchman panel. I didn't even know what the hell it was, you know, until that's the piece between the windshield and the trunk. Oh, that piece. Okay. I just used to call it a trunk filler panel. I didn't know what the hell was that. Who the hell came up with the name Dutchman? I don't know who came up with that. But yeah. And, you know, in my own car, I have a Pontiac, a GTO, and my windshield channel had rotted out back in the 70s. You know, 10 years old that rotted out. So I had gone in there with some I took some metal that I bent on an angle and I brazed it in. So now when the car was in for body work and going to be restored, my buddy at the shop said, why don't you get a repair panel for that? And I said, dude, I wish there was a repair panel for that. Right. He goes, well, you should check. Well, I went into Ames and there it was. It was an AMD panel. It was like $60. I said, you got to be kidding me. $60.
You can barely buy the metal for that, right?
You know, I couldn't buy it fast enough. But then the problem was I had to unbraze the part that I put in. And I'll tell you something, unbrazing is a lot harder than brazing. I mean, it took me a series of days after work going over there to unbraze, because then you don't want to warp the rest of the car.
Right. Yeah.
But that panel, boom, put it in, weld it, body work a little bit. You're never going to see it, so it doesn't have to be even perfect. And now no more windshield leaks.
That's perfect. Cool. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's funny you mentioned that. I got an email today from Chevy Hardcore, their online magazine, and they just did a tech article on that very piece.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. on a GTO they're working on.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Excellent part. Yeah, that really saved. That was something that really saved me.
Oh yeah.
So I was going to look at. What do we got? The incognito. Terry and witness protection.
Is that what you talk about when you're saying undisclosed location?
Oh, that's
undisclosed location.
Yeah,
but the man cave undisclosed
tonight. Yeah.
Is your camera dirty?
Dude, get the Vaseline off the lens. What are you doing?
Wipe your camera off.
Hold on a second.
Man.
There you go.
There you go.
Not really.
Dial-up's tough, Terry. I tell you.
I know. Gotta get that modem.
AOL, man.
Yeah.
Grease the modem.
I got some discs laying around. I'll send you one.
Yeah. I gotta get update to 5.0. Windows 98.
There you go.
Good to see you, my friend.
Always a pleasure, JC. What's good, man?
Oh, we're just hanging out, having a good time, man. You know.
What's up? We got Ray in the house. We got Louis Lee. We got JC. What's up? My cat's here. Milky?
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool.
Well, so far, what I missed.
All the fun stuff.
Terry's always late, so we gotta, inform him that being late,
like
you ain't
walk it back.
Yeah.
Jason just
heard
giving
the
us knowledge in the middle.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
really what we've been focusing on. But AMD's really pushing forward on a lot of this interior stuff, man. I mean, we've been partnering with people for the Mopar stuff for a long time, and you've seen some of our classic headquarters products where we have everything from control arms and power steering bolt kits to full AMK complete nut and bolt body fasteners. So
glass. Don't forget glass.
they're the glass. Yeah. We're gonna see that in the Cuda, right?
You know it. You know it.
That LS gonna look good under that glass, right?
We can't tell the people. One of you be mad at me. I tell you what, we had a good time over at Mopar Nationals, man. We were kicking it, man. We had a great time.
Good time.
Yep.
Terry emceed the entire jump. It was great. Did we ever figure out who won the 68, 69, or 70 Charger favorite?
I tell you what, Lewis Lee said 69 got it, but 68 came one strong.
I was a 70 guy. Strong.
Yeah.
So I was, yeah. I had to ask, man. I had to ask.
I know.
But,
no, it's
70, good. They disappointed me a little, I gotta tell you. But the 69, after I said 68, I thought 68 was going to win. I thought they were going to walk away with it, but the 69 just blew the roof off. I was like, wow.
Now you see, Terry, I think because the 70, I don't know. I didn't look at the actual dimensions, but to me, the car seems a little stubbier and a little tougher. It wasn't as big and bulky as that 69, that rear section of the 69. I thought the 70 was a little more like a street fighter, a little tougher, and I like the redesign. So, hey, you know what? There's a shoebox for everybody's feet.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I don't know if I would. I like the 68. I like them all. I mean, they all. You can't.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I like the 68 taillights, but I like the 70 grill. It's hard to say.
Well, Jason, that's why we usually discourage questions like this, because all it does is just makes angst and arguments and people now like don't talk to each other anymore because goddamn somebody said 56 Chevy. It's like
right. So, the evil side of the internet.
Yeah, we try to stay friends around here, but Terry keeps bringing it up. He's like an agitator. This guy's like Bella Abzug's nephew. I swear to God.
That's awesome.
I just asked a simple question.
I know. We still love you, though. It's all right.
Thank you. Oh man. So the next big show you got going on, Jason, is the World of Cars, World of.
Okay, so we do a ton of events each year, and we are in like slap the middle of high peak. Let's go and roll. Next show we've got this weekend. We've got Bear Drive. That is a in-house, charity event that Eddie holds for the Eddie Bear Foundation. And basically what we do is we bring in people that will donate stuffed animals. It's a new unwrapped tag still on stuffed animals. We collect that and we take it to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And when they need it, they've got it. We've also partnered with the Hall County Sheriff's Department here locally. They have some bears in every cruiser. So if they come up on a situation where there's a child that needs some comforting, they've got something there for them. Nice. And we're starting to spread that out to other counties in the state. And
that's cool.
Even working with No Limit Engineering up in Tennessee. They're going to be working with their sheriff's department on that. So it's really taken off, and it's a good cause.
Nice.
Yeah, and then right behind that is Triple Crown of Rotting. I would encourage anyone that hasn't been to that show to get it on your list.
Where is that show, Jason?
So that is in Nashville. It's in Lebanon at the Nashville Super Speedway. It's put on by Gary Case and Bobby Alloway, and it is the creme de la creme of hot rodder shows. All the top names will be there. We're going to be hosting the autocross. So we're a headline sponsor for Brian Finch and Finch Performance with his Apex Predator chassis Share the Ride program. Basically, they're taking turns 1 and 2. They're going to have, from what he was telling me, 16 trucks at least where people can sign up, sign a waiver, get in the truck, and go around the lap.
Nice.
So that's a really cool feature of Triple Crown. And Brian does that, at different events across the country. He's a really talented, amazing guy, and we're happy to partner with him. We also have Saturday at Triple Crown. We're going to be doing our builders panel. It's something we put together last year where we get a group of hot rodders, well-known guys, and we just kind of talk about the future of hot rodding, how you got your start. This year we're going to be hosting with, Kevin Tates. He's going to be our main MC. He's our brand ambassador this year. And hopefully we'll be next year if we don't run him off.
Yeah.
We're going to have Alan Johnson's Hot Rod Shop. We're going to have Chip Foose. We have Dave Kindig and Steve Mank. So it's going to be a hell of a builders panel. That's a Saturday at 11 a.m. at Triple Crown. So
you got everybody but Lewis Lee.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, I should be on the board.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it's going to be. It was a great time last year, and I'm really looking forward to it. That's one of the events I'm really excited about this year. After that, we don't slow down. We're going to Mo Party, Bowling Green, Kentucky. And we've got pretty big plans for that. We're partnering with Mopar Connection, Kevin Shaw and his crew. We're going to be hosting Catherine Bach with Daisy Duke in his booth, along with Kibby and Friends, their podcast. They're big Mopar guys. Muscle Car Restorations out of Wisconsin, top-notch builder. They're part of the they're on the ARMO board or on ARMO member. And then we're going to have Raymond. Raymond's coming back. He's coming to hang out with us up there at Mo Party. So he recently parted ways with the Jump General Lee. It went down to Alabama. This guy Ham, he's the one that picked it up. And I got a call earlier this week from a distributor of ours, Ted Stevens. He's like, hey, look, this guy, he lives like a mile down from me. Everybody knows him as Ham. He just bought that jump car. I was like, well, cool. That's awesome.
Okay.
The car was like demolished. Like, I don't know what he's going to do with it, but he's super into that. And it was really cool. I was like, man, I'd love to have that in our showroom. But he's going to bring the car to Bowling Green. Raymond's worked that out with him. And we're going to have Raymond there signing autographs. And I tell you what, let me speak a little bit about Raymond. When he jumped that car, he was checked out and he did whatever he could to make it back to the booth and see his fans and shake their hands. And it was unbelievable. And that man deserves the praise for that because he does it for the fans, and it's really cool.
When I say that man was in pain, he was in pain.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he had to ride in the back of the truck, and his wife had to drive the truck home, and he was in pain, that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was able to get up for like maybe 2 or 3 days. I mean, just barely.
Wow. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, kudos, Ray.
Yeah.
Yep.
The man his flowers. And like I said before, to actually be there to watch it, me and JC and Lou, we lost our minds. We were like,
yeah.
It was, I mean, to see it on social media, on the computer, it's one thing, it's impressive.
Yeah.
But when you actually there and you see that man just flying up in the air, man.
Ray, that car was so high. It was unbelievable. It was like, how do you get a car that high? It was
right.
Only 70 miles an hour, 72 miles an hour.
Yeah. It's unreal. Yeah, so we're excited for Mo Party. Have Raymond back there hanging out with us. He won't be going home injured. And so that's going to be a cool show. And then after that, I really haven't paid attention. I know we do. We're going to have a lot of C10 stuff coming up where we'll be at C10 Nationals back in Nashville area. We're going to be doing a C10 Fall Revival, which is a great show, Denton, North Carolina. If you guys are into C10s, Chevy trucks, GMC trucks, they do it, I think, pretty much up to 98 or maybe even newer. I'm not sure.
Hey, you don't have to rub it in.
Well, maybe we'll sneak an 06 in there. I don't know. That's a great event. It's all for a great cause. It's for the Ronald McDonald House. They don't take any of the proceeds. It goes straight to, making sure that those kids are taken care of. And then, Lewis and I were talking about SEMA. We'll be out at SEMA. We won't do the booth, but we will be out there. So if you see us, we'll be, rocking the AMD gear. Make sure you stop and say hi. Or what might be more interesting to Lewis, we're talking about getting in the van, rolling across the country. He mentioned he might be him and his wife heading out to SEMA. So this year we decided that we needed something to do. We weren't busy enough, and we needed something to do between SEMA and Dino's Get Down, which is a huge GM truck show out in Arizona the weekend after SEMA. So in between that, we're doing GM Truck Week. So it's basically something for the industry to do in between the Chevy Truck Show, Dino's Get Down, and SEMA. So we're having stops every single day. So we'll have more information coming on our socials. So we've got a lot of partners involved where it's like Dixon Flannel and Speedway Motors and GSI Fabrication. They do chassis and really cool stuff, and everybody in between. So we'll make sure everybody's in tune with that. And
nice.
Lewis, come hang out. It's going to be a fun time, man. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on. So
yeah, that'd be nice. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. It was really, we kind of focused it towards, industry folks that have reach and, people that may not be able to see them at SEMA, but are in the area or close enough where they could come out. And, we're already out there. We got all of our stuff out there. We spend all this money to travel the country. It's like, let's make the most out of it. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Hayes from Hot Rod Innovations.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes to that show. So yeah, that'd be nice to get together with everybody like that. Yep.
Oh yeah, and I tell you, Dino, they put on an amazing show, and the facility is at the Cardinal Stadium. They have like a little cruise lane, which is really cool, and they're so hospitable, take care of their vendors. All the the spectators come out, have a great time. It's one of my favorite events of the year.
Nice.
You've got Triple Crown. I mean, there's too many good events. That's the problem.
Yeah, really is. See, that's what I'm looking forward to, being out on the road, because I can't make it to all these events that I want to, but the next 2 years it's on.
Oh yeah. You're going to have a full dance card, sir. You're going to be all over the country.
You're going to be our traveling emissary.
Yep. I'll go live everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Hey JC, who's I'm sorry, Lou. Whose charger was that in your booth at No Part National?
So that was Ted Stevens, the guy that gave me a call. He actually had that in his junkyard. So Ted helped us develop a lot of the Mopar parts when we got started. And he's got a salvage yard in northern Alabama. And that Daytona was in his yard for a long time. And the story goes that car was bought new in, I think, 71, 72, and was not – it was in a police chase pretty soon after it was purchased. I don't know if it was stolen. I don't know the details. But the story goes that it was in a police chase, got totaled. That's how it ended up in the junkyard. Well, back in the day when we were doing the Chop Cut Rebuild series, we thought it was a perfect candidate to rebuild, and that is an actual Daytona that they rebuilt and put it back into the way you saw it there at the Mopar Nationals, and it's pretty cool to see. Now, I mean, there's granted, we get a lot of flack online where, it's not original anymore. It's, Chinesium and this and that. It's like, okay, we've got a fair amount of parts. The VIN and the fender tag, those are original. You can make an argument either way. The purist, whatever. I can sit in it. I can see it. It looks pretty damn good to me.
Oh, yeah.
You won't be able to tell. Exactly. And it's funny because, how many people didn't know that? I told JC this story. I told Lou the story, but there are so many people who were so upset when they thought that they were jumping a real Charger because
Yeah.
we got all those AMD panels and that Charger looked good. And it was sitting right next to that Daytona. I mean, it looked good. It looked really, really good. And people were so upset. I had 3 people that showed up like they lost their dog or something like that with, with a puss on their face because they thought it was a real Charger. And when I told them it wasn't a real Charger, this is that Crown Vic or either Glen Marquis with some AMD skin on it. A few of them lit up. They were just like I told JC, like the Grinch, when the Grinch's heart blew up and it grew and he had that stupid grin on his face. Yeah, that's what it was like.
Oh yeah.
And then I realized you can't satisfy everyone because when some of them found out it wasn't a real Charger, they were just like, oh, they jumping a Crown Vic. It's not a real Charger. I was like, wait a second. A few seconds ago, when you thought it was a real Charger, you were ready to cry. Now you find out it's not a real Charger. What do you want, man?
Yeah, and support the man, support the team, enjoy the show, and shut the.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I guess the thought is, nobody had any idea how many of those cars they wrecked when they were wrecking them, and now that we kind of have a good idea and we know, it's like, wow, those are definitely out of circulation forever, and the purists want to keep what's left around. So I get that.
Yeah.
But even if they're even if they actually, I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
But to actually, if you've grown up through this time in history with TV and movies, and if you think they're actually wrecking a '69 Charger that looks like that, you got to have your head examined. I mean, because who the hell would do that?
Right.
Yeah.
You know better. You know better.
Exactly.
And if you don't, you should have your head.
You're right. Exactly.
I'm going to use that, Ray.
Yeah. Feel free.
All right, I'm gonna get the fellas in.
But one more thing. I mean, I did research, and I was going to mention this when I was speaking to the people, but it was just they were starting to race and everything like that and wanted to go. You got to look at it like this. I think most of those years, 68, 69, 70, I think 68 was the least amount of years, and I think that was like 40-something thousand.
Yes.
69 and 70. I mean, 69 was the most popular year.
Correct.
I think 69 it was like 60,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Where 70 is close to that.
Right.
If you want a Charger, they're out there. The show only ruined, I think, 300.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's pretty small. Right.
But if you look at what other people drove and the ones that got wrecked and rotted, I mean, there's a lot of them that are gone. I mean, there are. I mean, it's good because those cars, like I said, my Pontiac, I bought it in 75 to 65, and it already had a little bit of rot on the quarter panels. Those cars weren't made to last more than 10 years.
No.
Right.
Crusher.
Right.
Exactly. And no one thought about keeping them.
Right.
No one thought about keeping them.
Well, not everybody.
Not everyone. I
Some of us did.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to gather up as many as I can.
Hell yeah. Keep doing it.
Oh, man.
All right.
Hey guys.
Hey, Joey.
You guys?
Hey.
Brian, Jim. What's happening?
All right, fellas.
Yeah, Jason.
I know Joey's been scratching to talk to you, Jason. So he's the first up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah, well, I've been doing a lot of research concerning the bedsides for the square bodies.
Yeah.
And so what I would like to do away from the show is talk to you one-on-one and compare data from my research with yourselves.
Okay.
And then figure out a way to raise that. It'd be a benefit for AMD, but I'm sold on AMD. My friend Dave, my friend Dave at Rust Bucket Restos. He's originally from right here in Northeast Ohio.
Right.
He now lives in Utah. I had been with him since day one of that 68 Charger that was found in a field here in Ohio.
Right.
And that car now is beautiful,
right?
Compared to what it was. And I watched him panel by panel from AMD. They just fell right into place, like they came off of the assembly line at Mopar.
Right.
And that to me tells a lot about the quality of your work. And I know that the few people that I've seen using the square body bedsides and door skins or even doors, whatever, you know, all of that stuff just fits so perfect. But what I'm finding in my research, there's not a lot of people promoting that part of AMD when it comes to Chevy, GMC bedsides, things like that. And that's for the 73 through 87s.
Right.
Now, 67 through 72, you can find that all day long. People talking about how great their AMD panels are.
Right.
So, and the reason I'm stuck on the square bodies is I'm a square body guy. That's all. That's about all I do here. And my channel is Mill Creek Fab Shop. So if it's all right, Lewis can connect us, and
yeah, please do.
And we'll do this because I think we can help each other. So
yeah, we're full bore on the square body stuff, man. It's been a big push. I mean, we've got square body headquarters in Arizona building cabs out of our parts now.
Yeah, wow.
And we've got some more people coming online, and it's just, it's really blown up and done really well. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you more.
I've seen one channel that I think has used the most. It's called United by Trucks.
Oh yeah,
and that's they're almost primarily square body, but they have occasional the C10.
Right.
And then one other channel, and I can't think of the name of this channel, that has actually used those bedsides and tailgates and things. I just feel like, and for the most part of my research, the people that I see promoting it, which is normal for a business to do it, and it's AMD.
Right.
So, but people outside of AMD that has a big reach could really, harness that and just do a great thing. So I would love to talk to you personally about that.
I just text you his information.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll get in touch with you probably early next week. And I'd love to chat for that for sure.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thank you.
Y'all know where I stand on AMD stuff. Y'all know where I stand, man.
Yeah, I'm backstage listening to you guys pick on poor old Terry about having Vaseline on his camera screen. That wasn't. I'm over here screaming. That's not Vaseline. That's chicken grease.
Lubriderm.
Astro.
Now it's a party.
Now it's a party. Now it's a party.
Yeah.
Oh,
man. Like a garage hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
So, Jason, do you have any old school cars yourself?
I do. I've got a 66 C10 I'm currently working on. It's in the paint and body stages now. I've had it for several years and, tinkered on it here and there. And then we were like, oh, we need to do a tech article on this. I'm like, okay, well, let's put a hood on it and see what it looks like. And now it's just gotten to the point I've cobbled it together where it needs to be one color again. So it's getting the AMD treatment. It's over at Rockford Custom Paint and Body in Athens, Georgia, and he's doing a hell of a job. He's taking it further. I'm like, no, man, just do this and this. And he's like, no, it's got to be right. And he's gapping it out and making it better than it was ever new. And it's really cool. So I'm excited about that. We've got a lot of good partners coming on board with that. It's going to be something that we can drive to a ton of events when it's ready. And I plan on driving it across the country. So if we're going to Dino's, it's driving. It's not on the trailer.
What's the power plant?
Right now we're working on the 5.3 LS swap on that just for drivability. We've got a great partnership with Summit Racing. They've got their LS platform, some AFR heads, some ARP bolts. We're working on getting that machined. Hopefully next week. It's been a hell of a journey trying to get a machine shop in there. But yeah, that's kind of the plan on that. So I've had other cars in the past. I was an import guy. I was a dirt track guy. I was a mini trucker guy. I was big on mini trucks, man. I had this crazy, Nissan hardbody back in the day when I was just out of high school, and I loved that thing.
Yeah.
I had the 300ZX rear end. It was laid out, acting stupid, and airbags and all this dumb stuff, and it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, speaking of airbags, over at the nursing home where my aunt is at, they had a family picnic for families to come and hang out with the residents. And so I went to that today, and she has this walker with a seat on it, that she uses to get around. And she's clumsy, I mean, when you're at that age and you've got to use that, you could fall. I told her, I said, you hated airbags in your car that you drove before you ended up here. I said, but we're going to have to get airbags to put on this chair for you. Because you're so clumsy, you're going to fall forward and you hit it just right. That airbag's going to hold you up,
You'll just pop right up and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the message Keith posted there about the S10 stuff. AMD does carry S10 stuff. It's not a huge selection, but we have hoods and your basic rust repairs, some interior stuff. So yeah, definitely check us out on that.
Well, let me ask you this: are you going to get into? Well, I know you got the hoods and everything like that, but what about cab corners for the OBS pickup?
Yeah, I've got. Oh man, OBS pickup. That is the new square body for development. Yeah. I've got every single piece of interior in development for those trucks. The glass. I've got the bed sides, the floor. I've got a ton of hoods. I've got doors in stock, fenders in stock. I've got all the grills, the bumpers, the core support, the window sills, the lights. I mean, hardware.
When you say bed, are you going to do step sides too?
No, come on. That's no. No, I would like to. I think if I remember right, those step sides were fiberglass sides.
Yeah, they are.
And it's a similar situation as like the OBS or the square body dually fenders. Mm-hmm. It's just something we can't get produced with what we've got right now. It wouldn't turn out great, and it's not something we're going to stay in our wheelhouse on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
As much as I'd want to, I mean, no. The fiberglass thing is tough. There's been a lot of, U.S. based manufacturers that have done a lot of, truck parts and hoods that were really great. And I don't know where they've ended up at, but
couldn't you, instead of doing a fiberglass replacement, couldn't you just make that out of metal, make a metal mold and have metal? Because some guys want metal instead of fiberglass.
We actually the square body dually fender, we looked at that, and that curve radius where it comes down on the back, it just stretches out too much and distorts too much. You'd almost have to make it a 3-piece solution, and we just don't know if anybody's really willing to do that on a marketable scale.
That makes sense. Yeah.
We wanted to, man. Those would be killer. A lot of guys would buy those like day one, but
because I know from experience and a few people that I know, unfortunately, when you have a wide back end, it seems to clip a few things and you crack them and break them up, and they're like, man, I just wish this was metal because they can yank, pull, and refill it and put it back together instead of having look like something like a shark took a bite out of. So I was just curious,
dude. I'm on that side of let's freaking do it. But the other problem, to make this not a complicated response, we've got so many oars in the water. We don't want to put too much more in there before we start just spinning in a circle.
Oh yeah. No, I understand. I looked earlier. I mean, I'm in the middle. I'm looking. I need fenders for, unfortunately, it's just a Mustang, and you don't have a very big selection of that stuff. And of course, I know everybody under the sun has that stuff. But you know, from listening to Joey and other people talk about quality, I mean, that's my biggest problem. I haven't pulled the trigger on anything because I go look at the stuff and I'm like, man, I know it's not super expensive, but when you gotta, I'm not a body guy, but when I got to get one of my buddies or a place that I do business with, and they got to spend so much time to make it right to fit, I'd rather pay the little bit of money up front and have it done right, you know, have a good piece. And that's kind of upsetting. Of course, you know, I know Mustangs are old school and they, you know, they're outdated and nobody really wants them anymore. But, you know, there's so much of that stuff, and who's going to start anything new? But I just
we've talked about it. We've really, you know, like, let's really look at it and see if the Mustang market would pay what it would cost us and be able to sell it, make it make sense 3 times what the quarter panel would cost now.
Yeah,
and we just,
because like I
and
said,
we always
a few
landed back
people-
on they just won't pay it.
Yeah, well, I think there's more people really out there because there's a lot of guys that have my same, you know, they're in the same boat. I got a couple buddies that are in the middle, and they bought, you know, like I said, you get into a fender or hoods are terrible, trunk lids are terrible. I mean, the aftermarket stuff is so bad.
Yeah.
And you get into that kind of stuff, and they spend so much money to get it to look halfway decent, and you're only halfway there.
Right.
You know, that's the problem. After, I mean, everybody made their money on it back in the '80s, and here we are in the second go around on restoring a car now. You know, the time wise, and the dies are just beat to shit. So. And they just make crap, but you know, that's my 2 cents. I was hoping to get a pair of fenders from Christmas from you, but I guess I'll have to try to squeeze on some, you know, some of that truck stuff that might look a little funny on the Mustang, but I can make it work.
You're gonna have to settle for a Christmas card, right?
Yeah,
Might
Here they make really good
be an
chargers.
improvement. There you go.
Well, I think we know we can get some Crown Vic fenders.
I know exactly where we get some Crown Vic fenders.
Right.
yeah.
His backyard.
That's funny. Yeah, I wasn't there when that Charger jumped, but I did see
He
the
broke
video.
his back, right?
Wow.
The guy
Was his
broke
back
his back.
broke?
No, he had a ankle injury, but I don't think there was anything severe. It wasn't a back broke or anything like that.
He went to the doctor, and he had a hairline. I think it was like a hairline fracture or something like that. But
I don't know, 'cause I couldn't bring it back up on Instagram, but there was a post where he had broken his back or spine injury or something like that.
That was him being Mike Tyson. You know, his daughter was talking.
Yeah,
his daughter was talking like, you know, like, I broke my back, and she's like, what? Spinal.
What's sad about it for me is Danny lives like 35 minutes from me, and I've never met him yet. And I'm going to be there at Lewis's on the 3rd doing a little interview and tour of his bus, because I was one of the channels that came to that Raise the Roof event and helped prepare and get everything ready for that roof to be raised. And Tyler at the shop where this was done at, Long Shot Performance, you know, he was so gracious by letting us use that shop and very generous, very good guy. I haven't even been able to come back and visit him yet, but that's one of the things I plan to do on the 3rd when I come back from Salineville. I got to pick up 72 C10 there, and then I'll be heading over to Lewis.
Yep.
And then hopefully Danny, right? That's his name.
No, Ray.
Or Ray, I'm sorry. Hopefully Ray will be on his feet and I'll get to meet him that day. That would be cool.
So Keith asked, how's my wrist? So I got my surgery done. Still got my stitches. And still a little swollen. but I can't use my pimp hand like I used to.
It looks like a vampire bit you.
Yeah, hey, they're still working on my hand.
Yeah.
What's that going to be for the trigger finger?
Jason wasn't expecting that. He's like,
No, it wasn't. No.
all this time I was thinking that dude had 2 arms. No.
Yes, I'm doing good, Keith. Just trying to get the swelling to go down. It's it's feeling good.
Yeah, they're trying Miracle Grow on mine now, so see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep the chin up, right? Keep the
Yeah.
water on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
You
man.
said that operation took like 8 minutes.
Yeah. It took longer to put me to sleep than to wake me up. He said I was in there 8 minutes. He goes in, does his thing, and sends me home.
Wow.
What was wrong with your wrist?
Carpal tunnel.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So,
Probably from driving them buses all the time, right?
yeah, that's what it is from driving. Same.
And now you're gonna retire into a bus.
Yeah, but I'm be rolling like a pimp with the seat leaning back one
Yeah.
hand.
Oh man, he's got that bus decked out. I mean, the transformation has just been amazing to watch. From
Yeah, you
day
gotta check
one.
that out there.
Yeah, you got to check that out. He has built and fabricated everything that's inside that bus right there in his garage and installed it. It's just amazing. So,
Appreciate it.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah, I can't wait to go cruising in it and go to sleep in your big king size bed. And,
I don't know about all that, but
well, while you're driving, not with you in the bed. Yeah.
yeah, you're all welcome to come hang out.
Hell yeah.
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 And the way those
Well, it's
window
about that
frames
time. I
work-
gotta lift.
Go ahead, Terry.
I'm sorry. I got a little boy up there. I got to put to bed. He's acting up. I wish I had my Nerf gun.
All right, Terry, go do your
All
thing.
right, Terry.
Good to see you, man.
Take care, gentlemen.
Good to
Jason, we'll
see
talk.
See you
All right.
All right,
see you
take
guys.
care, everyone.
later, brother. I don't remember what I was saying now, so I guess it didn't matter.
I know you're gonna keep Lewis's bed warm in that bus.
Yeah, while he's driving, not with him in it.
You're right. It's in that kind of show, fellas. Look, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You come take a nap, huh?
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm going to stop by and take a nap. I'll bring you some blown salad. So,
Yeah, it's been a fun project. It's been 3 years we've been working on it. I'm almost done. I got a couple little things to tighten up, but she's about ready. She'll be ready for SEMA. So I'll be heading out there in October.
Good. I want to see it out there, man.
you're going to see it coming, let me tell you. That thing is like a double decker now at 18-inch raise.
Yeah, we went out.
Anything crazy like a big 30-foot sliding rag top or
I thought
It's
about
got
it.
a shag carpet dash, fuzzy dice.
there you go. All right.
I am putting the dice in. The dice is going in.
Oh,
Gonna have those little fuzzy balls hanging above the windshield area, bouncing around.
Cheap special.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell people I can't wait to be a hippie. I'm going to hit the road and be a hippie.
Yeah. Cheech Marin goes to school.
That's awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, I can't wait to see that thing and just. A lot of people ask me about it all the time. They're like, "What's going on with that bus? I've never seen any more videos popping up on your channel." I've been using old material, and I'm finally able to tell them now in my videos that, hey, September 3rd, watch for a video. You're going to see the bus almost complete. You're going to love it. So,
Yeah, you guys send me the link to that. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, I'll send you all the info.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been a fun project. A lot of work, man. I actually built a house. You don't think about how much you have to put into it, but
yeah.
it's always there.
Yeah, and the guys that were involved, we haven't even mentioned all of them. You got Arco from Outlaw Edge. The guy's amazing with sheet metal and anything else automotive. And then you got Paul Lyons. He doesn't like to tell us what show he used to work for, and I can't remember the name, but he's a mastermind at that stuff. He actually has done a lot of repairs to that Ferrari that was used in.
What was it?
That was Bueller's day off.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Did Joey freeze up? His one hand is only not moving.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so the guys were incredible, man. They came from Idaho, from Wisconsin, Minnesota, all over, Florida, New York. They came here, man, and one weekend they brought their own tools, and they said, "What do we got to do?" I showed them, we showed where we got to cut. We cut it, lifted it. It's all on the YouTube channel.
Am I back?
Yep.
Okay.
Incredible bunch of guys. I'll always be in debt.
Yeah, and then there's Bill Cameron from Edge Fraternity. All just a bunch of great guys. We had so much fun at that event. It was just amazing. And to do it in a weekend, that was the other amazing part.
Yeah.
Because we were constantly moving off.
I was going to do it myself. It took me 30 days, 30, 40 days to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had this chalkboard there on wheels, and they had a list of everything that had to get done that weekend. The very last thing on the list was kill Joey Collins, which happened to be me. So I had to skin out of there right before the last weld.
Yeah, right before you guys are done, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Yeah.
So part of my repay, I would like to go around and help. I talked to a couple companies, and we want to go help people that might not be able to get their car done, maybe got sick or disabled. So that same group of guys, we'd send out the bat call and, go help out somebody that might need help.
Cool.
Just to give back from them coming to help me.
Yeah, and amazing too. You have Batman on the team as well.
Yeah. Joey had his Batman mask.
Well, listen, people has not seen me and Batman in the same room together. So that's all I'm saying.
That's all.
Just because you see him show up on my videos every now and then does not mean that is me behind.
Right. All right, guys, I got to head out. I've got an early start in the morning, but I appreciate everything.
Hey, we really appreciate you coming on.
Having it.
Listen, I tell everybody that comes on as a guest, you are now family, so you don't have to be invited. You come on and hang out with us anytime you want, anytime you want to share, or if you just want to hang out. You know what I mean? You're welcome all the time.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for that. Joey, be in touch. If you guys need anything from me, feel free to reach out, okay?
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you, Jason. Good to meet you.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks, Lewis. See you
All
guys.
Later.
Take care.
Take care, Jason.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Take care.
Yeah, time for me to bail too. Gotta get up.
All right, Jim. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Jim, I love looking at you. Why you gotta go?
See you all next
Jim?
week.
Why you gotta go, Jim?
I got this thing called work.
Yeah, you got
Sorry. Yeah. Well, you have a good night. It's good to see you, Jim.
All right, take care.
So long, Jeff.
Take care, Jim.
What's up, Coach?
Not much. How y'all doing?
Oh,
Hey,
man.
Coach.
Living the dream.
We had our first game this week, and
You lost.
yeah, we did lose. But I'll tell you what, last year we got embarrassed by this team. They expect to run all over us, and our kids were in the game the whole game. They beat us. What was it, 19-6? But, we were knocking on the door, scoring like 3 or 4 more times, and we just got just ran out of juice or whatever. But the big thing is our kids never stopped fighting. They were motivated. They we had to make a change at quarterback like in the game, and of course that kid just ate it up. I'm like, you know what, you're the quarterback from now on. You earned it. And I got some good film on it, so I was able to go over the film and see some things that it really showed the kids are coming a long way. And then in the morning when the school opens up, when the gates open, they've been going to the library and studying their playbooks, and the librarians come out and complimented them. And today she sent me pictures of the whole group, and I popped in, looked through, opened the door, looked in real quick, watched them for a second, and then popped back out. But she said they're very, very well behaved. They're not causing a bunch of ruckus. When they look at video or whatever they talk about, we need to do this, we need to do that. It's never me or you or I, you know.
Mhm.
And then after, when the bell rings for the first class to, you know, for everybody to go in, they quietly move the tables back where they belong, clean up after themselves, and then they head to class. So, you know, and the librarian, she's been there for quite a long time. She said this is the first time she's ever seen a team do that.
What are you
That's
slipping into that? What are you slipping in that milk?
Yeah.
A good portion of them. So we had a team they weren't bad last year, but we had a couple guys that were about themselves, and they saw how it affected the team. And the kids that came over the summer and did camp, they just took their, you know, that they were moving up to being 8th graders, and they really took their role as leaders, and they're setting the tone. And I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of them. In fact, I told them the way they're studying their playbooks and stuff, I said, not only is that high school level, I said, that's going into the realm of college level, you know. So I told them if they keep that up and keep that work ethic, that attitude, I said, you know, you guys are going to go places. So,
Yeah.
Good. That's great.
That's cool, man. Good to hear.
Yeah.
It's good to have a team that's got, I call that respectful morals that was taught by their parents to clean up after itself. And that will reflect in how they play, you know, and how their dedication will be. So I think you guys might have a great season.
Oh yeah. I expect great things. I mean, and I'll tell you this though, the hardest part about that game. So the other team didn't get the memo. We both showed up in gray jerseys, in our home jerseys. And this year our athletic director said, we're just going with one jersey. We're not doing the combination. It's too hard. Last year it was too hard to get them changed in and out and get them on the bus. We're just going with one jersey. I said, let's go with our grays. And that team was in their grays, and it was hard to tell who was who, you know. So some of our passes that got thrown and bounced around, and I'm like, who are you throwing to? And he's like, Coach, I can't tell who's who. You know, in fact, it's funny. At one point, the kids line up, we're doing kickoff, and I'm like, we're on that side of the 50, guys. And I wander out into the field, and there's this kid standing there, and he's staring at me, and I look at him and I said, that side, let's go. Come on. Hey, we are on that side. And he's like, okay, got it. And I'm like, and he's not moving. And I'm going, hello. And I start getting closer. And louder. And as I get close enough, I'm like, oh my God, you're not my player. I'm so sorry. And he goes, you're good, Coach. It was the funniest thing.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like I said, he was looking at me like, yeah, I got it. You guys are on that side, but I'm thinking he's being a smart ass. You know, it was the funniest thing.
I thought for sure you were going to say, and about that time the ball snapped, he got it and ran a touchdown for your team.
No, unfortunately, no. But and thank God I didn't, because I'm out on the field. But no, I got a good group of kids. I'm really proud of these boys, and I can't say enough. Just their work ethic, that team mentality. A couple of them watched the show here. The next day they'll ask something. In fact, one of them asked me, I think it was last week, we were talking about the Dodge truck, and he goes, which Dodge truck is that you got? What do you got on there? And what motor do you got? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. You watched the show.
Yeah, you gotta watch what you say, huh?
Yeah, that's you.
All right. Well, guys, I think I'm going to bail. I got to get up early and do some massive yard work. And then there is a big bus, not school bus. I meant to say Volkswagen bus and Volkswagen Beetle show over here in Geneva tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And if it don't rain too much, I'm going to go to that and hang out with my buddy. and maybe get some video on that.
All right.
So that'd be Saturday. So tomorrow's all yard work. It's basically boring stuff, but gotta get done. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't cut this yard in almost 3 weeks. It's starting to show.
All right. So I sent Jason your information, Joey, so he has everything.
Cool deal. Yeah, I'll be watching for him to get up with me, and we can help them guys out and get some sales on those bedsides, because right now I just don't think it's as widely known as it could be that they have this stuff. So, but all right, guys,
I'm gonna jump ship too.
Okay, guys. Awesome.
All right.
Be
Take
safe.
care, guys.
Take care.
We'll carry on from here.
All right, Ray, you can do your thing on the shutdown.
I absolutely will. You got that right.
All right, take it easy,
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
All right,
Take
Lewis.
care. Be safe, Lewis.
Hey, Ray's tough, man. When he shuts down, he throws us all out. You
You're
don't
done, man. You're out of here. You thought the coach was tough. Damn.
Don't do it my way and play it the way I said. You're done. You're benched.
He who has the button has the power.
Yeah.
So they say. So
Yeah.
So then I guess we will say we will sign off. It's 10:20. We're a little later. We're a little behind schedule. So we'll keep the metrics the same, so the YouTube account can not we won't overflow the metric.
Right.
So yeah.
That video, did you see the last one I sent you about the mystery 350?
Yeah, I gave it a like on YouTube. You sent it to me, you texted it to me, but then I like to watch it on TV. So
Yeah.
I gave it a like on the on that platform, but I did
Yeah, that was amazing when he that piston that I pulled out, he measured that with his actual measuring tool. And he's like, oh, this thing's already 30 over.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, that's great.
Right.
So then we were like, well, what has it got for a crank? Is it a 400 or not? He didn't have to do anything special to figure that out. He reached his hand up in there and he could feel around where the machine or the engine has to have clearance for a 400 crank.
Right.
He's like, nope, it's definitely a 350 crank.
Yeah.
And so then he flipped it over, and that's when we realized, or he did, that it's not a stock 350 crank, it's a forged scat crank, so somebody started out putting some good money into it, but then they dropped the ball when they went with stock pistons and stock piston arms.
Yeah, listen, Joey, I've seen so many engines and I've been part of so many builds. I mean, I know guys and myself included, you do a budget build, you used maybe you had that scat crank laying in the corner, you bought it for something else, you bought it off a buddy and you needed a place to use it. So you had a good block, you got the crank, and now you had a set of stock rods and pistons. Said, okay, it's just going in the work truck, so I might as well just use what I got.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 1,000 reasons engines get built like that.
Right.
But you got a good crank, and if you want to upgrade the pistons and rods, you're ahead of the game because you don't have to upgrade the crank.
Yeah, we're going to go with, I think he said it was 10.5 to 1. So we're changing the heads, piston rods, all aftermarket stuff.
How did those heads check out?
Those heads, like Paul Lyons just said, they're good for low compression engine that you're going to run a blower or supercharger on. Other than that, they're really not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did he CC the heads to let you know what the flow
Well,
is? I mean, you can mill a head or mill a block and raise the compression. So
yeah.
It's the actual valves and the configuration and the size.
Yeah, the valves, he said they're stock, and I can't remember what he said, 64 or 72. They're small. He said they're the small ones.
So talking about the CCs of the head, 64 CCs or 72 CCs.
Yeah, he said, I could use those, and he could machine them and put bigger valves and all that. But I'm like, nah, I don't want to put that kind of money into these. I want to go with something that's ready to go on for the configuration we're going to go with.
All right. I mean, because you look at that in conjunction with the cam profile.
Yeah.
and the induction system. You know, it all kind of plays together. But yeah, you're not in a bad spot. You're not in a bad spot at all. You know?
No, and the cam is pretty much a stock cam. The timing chain is what I'd said in one of the previous videos. Without pulling that cover, I could see through one of the drain holes that it was a double roller.
Yeah.
But he had let me know last night it was definitely a Cloy's, which is a popular brand people use.
I'll tell you something. I haven't put anything but a Cloy's double roller chain in an engine since the 70s. Literally. I mean, I don't know anybody who puts a link belt back in. I mean, you know, Cloy's was just the way to go, and because they sold the chain with the sprockets.
Yep.
And it was
and it was. He said it was in good shape. You know, it wasn't sloppy or anything. Well, just hang on to it. I may need it.
The double roller, you know, design and the link belt design too lasts a long time. The detriment of the link belt was it was on, you know, the factory would use that nylon coated cam gear to make it quiet. Yeah. You know what? I put double rollers in everything I've ever owned, and I've never had one been noisy. So I don't see what the factory was concerned with. You know,
and technically with I don't know about today, and I don't really want to get into the whole thing about what things are made and how they're made today. But if that was done 10 years ago or 15 years ago, that double roller timing chain will last forever, dude.
Yeah,
I've never,
absolutely.
I mean, I've had one in a car that's been in 3 different motors.
Yeah,
and you know it's still tight and everything. Like I said, it's one of those things that just do not wear.
Absolutely, absolutely. So so you're on the good side there, Joe. You're not, you know, you're in a good place. It just
and then I think he said, what is it called? Not the tap it one, but
a roller cam.
Roller cam. Yeah, we're gonna upgrade to roller cam in this.
That way you don't have to use high zinc oil. You can use regular off the shelf oil.
Yep.
You do just have to make sure, depending on the lift. I mean, this guy, he's going to know. You've got a machinist who knows what he's doing. When you use, the only thing you have to be concerned with is clearance for the lift of the cam. But I don't think you're going to go too crazy anyway. So,
and if you're not going that crazy, you don't have to worry about pulling the stud. You know, the studs on the head if they're not screwed in studs.
Yeah, that's if you're using high. See, but that's if you're using high spring pressure and higher RPM. And the rollers typically use low spring pressure springs, lower spring pressure springs. So yeah, you can. I mean, anything.
Yeah. We're gonna when it dynos, we're looking for 430 plus horse. So I would assume that it's gonna be like a tighter spring because I said I'd like to be able to wind this thing out to 7 grand without blowing the top off.
You know, that's very attainable in this day and age. That's not a stretch at all. That's that's easy.
Oh yeah. So 430 plus, it'll be a 355. We're not even going to machine it out to be a 383 since it's got that scat crank. That engine will eventually go in the 72 that I'm getting on the third, and then the other one he's building is a 430. And that's actually an aftermarket 400 block. That's 430 yoke. So that one's going to be the torque monster for the square body.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a great night.
Okay, Joe.
Take care, Joey.
Yeah. Right. See you later.
All right, and I guess we'll end the stream too. So for Lewis Lee, our venerable host who's back after his surgery, and for Jason Chandler from AMD, what a great guest, man! That guy is they're good company, great stuff. I was glad to hear about their machining processes, and I forgot how much of that stuff I've done in my history. I got, you talk to guests and you remember stuff that you did. You're like, oh yeah, I've done that. You kind of forget about it. So yeah. So thanks to Jason for coming on. We'll see if we can get him on a radio show. And of course, the radio
too bad he
show
doesn't do Mustang stuff, but
I know. Well, maybe we could coerce him into doing that. So Motormouth Ray, of course, Matt Command Brian, Coach Isaac. And we will be back next week. I'll be back Sunday on the air on Motormouth Radio. We're going to stay here, but we're going to go. So we'll see you next week. What do we say, Brian? Who's watching the store tonight?
I just hope it's not the black Suburban.
Okay, yeah, I hope not either. All right.
You can
All
you can follow us on social media. Just don't follow us home.
Yeah. All right. All right.
Yeah,
See you
no.
next week. All right. Well,
Like this show? Want more? Then head to watchpttv.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.